Hello, hello. It's Weather for Weather Geeks time. It's Tuesday afternoon. I'm recording this at about 2:30 p.m. And yeah, no surprise. Earlier today, we did have some showers, and what was a little bit of a surprise was some thunder and lightning mixed in, and we even had some real tiny hail pellets for a time, right around 12:30 or so, 12:45. Close to 1 o'clock, right around the 224 corridor. Now, those thunder showers have now pushed off to the south and east. Extreme southeastern Columbiana County here at 2:30 around East Liverpool, thunder shower there, and more of that heading towards the Pittsburgh and Altoona and State College areas over in Pennsylvania. We are pretty much done with shower activity for a while now. I do think they'll return. We'll talk about that in just a second. But one thing for sure, mild start to the day, but look how it's cooled off. Let me bring up the temperatures here. Current temperature at the Youngstown Warren Airport, 49 degrees, 54 and falling at Newcastle, and it's 66 down in Beaver Falls. So from north to south, we're seeing that cooler weather. It's down to 44 raw degrees up in Ashtabula right now. Now, where the sun has managed to peek through, temperatures have not dropped quite as quickly. So out here from Canton, Akron, Dover, New Philly on west, we're still well into the 50s, if not 60 or so. But where we've got this cloud deck, yeah, it's turning out to be a pretty chilly Tuesday afternoon, especially compared to where we were earlier on today. Now, will we see the sun in many places for the rest of the day? I think the best chance of seeing some intervals of sun will be from roughly 224 on south. The farther north you are, it looks like this stratus deck is going to have a hard time breaking for a good chunk of the afternoon up in northern Trumbull and northern Mercer counties. Let me take off the satellite, make this a little less busy here, and I'll put the radar in motion, give you a general sense as to the motion of things here over the last several hours. Again, the atmosphere just unstable enough earlier today to produce these thunder showers. A couple of pretty loud claps of lightning out there around midday today, and even a few hail reports as well. Now we're getting into this break in the action that I think will last a while. Let me bring up the future radar here, based off the latest high-resolution computer model. And we're going to start this a couple of hours from now. Let's start this at 5 p.m., giving us a general sense as to what the radar should look like at about 5 o'clock. Not much going on at that point. 6 o'clock, and then 7 and 8 o'clock as we head towards sunset and beyond, as our upper level low pressure system moves overhead and the instability in the atmosphere increases again. I think there will be a kind of a regeneration of some shower activity, some lake enhancement also going on here. This is at 8 o'clock this evening, and up into northern Trumbull, northwestern Mercer, we're starting to see some sprinkles or some showers there right around sunset this evening at 8 o'clock. So this evening, if you have, your golf league or a softball game or something where you need to be outdoors, it's going to be chilly. But I think we're largely dry through about sunset. First places to see some showers towards sunset, likely to be up north of I-80. Here's 9 p.m. and then 10 p.m. this evening, and this is when showers are going to become a little more common, I think, across the valley. Nothing real heavy here, but then things get kind of interesting. We've been talking about this now since yesterday, the possibility of seeing a snow shower later on tonight. I don't think the chance is all that high. I think it's in the 20 to 40% range, and I do think the best chance of this happening is going to be north of Youngstown, and we're talking about northern Mercer, northern Trumbull. That's where the atmosphere is likely to be just cold enough that it's not going to stick or anything, but you might see a few snowflakes, some snow showers. There's been some gnashing of teeth on social media about this possibility. We don't want to play it up too much because it really isn't going to be a big deal. Yes, we don't want to see snowflakes this late in the year, but thankfully, we're not talking any accumulations here, and most of us won't even see it. But a few spots overnight tonight, first thing tomorrow morning, might pick up a snow shower out of this. Best chance throughout all of the region, out of our viewing area, is going to be up in northern parts of Ashtabula County or central Ashtabula County, Geauga County, heading over to Crawford County, PA, again, out of the WFMJ viewing area for the most part, but those are the areas that have the absolute best chance of seeing a few snowflakes as we head into to Wednesday morning. All right, rainfall totals over the last 24 hours. Of course, it started to rain last night or very early this morning. Pretty modest totals here. Here's about 1/4 of an inch down towards Columbiana, 0.32, a little bit closer to Salem, about 1/10 of an inch Newton Falls, 2/10 of an inch just north of there. The airport officially at 0.16. So generally a 1/10 or 2/10 of an inch worth of rain so far today, putting us over 2.5 inches in most rain gauges for the month so far. Typical April for the whole month, we get about 3¼ inches. So we're doing pretty well in the rain gauges so far this April. I do think that we will add to those totals at the end of the week. But let's talk about Wednesday for just a second. Again, scattered snow shower activity, particularly up in Trumbull and into Mercer counties. First thing tomorrow morning. That goes away. The sun breaks out tomorrow afternoon, and Thursday looks like a pretty decent day. Thursday's going to be a warmer day. Tomorrow, chilly. Hard pressed to get much above 50 tomorrow, but then Thursday we've got a good shot at getting into the 60s. And then here's this next slug of rain. This is Friday morning, 8 a.m. Low pressure right here. Here's our front. And I think the wettest part of Friday will be the morning hours. We've got the YSU spring game coming up in the evening on Friday. And I am concerned that some oops, let me back this up. Kind of a secondary little push of showers tries to come in towards the end of the day Friday. We'll have to watch out for that. But I think the best chance for steady rain that's going to last consistently for a few hours is going to be in the morning on Friday. We just probably can't rule out another 15 or 20-minute shower in a few spots late in the day again on Friday. And then as we head into the weekend, this looks like a cool weekend coming up. This is Saturday's map, and while you can't see the clouds here on this model, this screams to me like kind of a stratus deck coming off the lakes, maybe even producing a sprinkle in some spots on Saturday. I think the farther south and southwest you are, away from the lake and away from Youngstown, better chance of seeing some sunshine on Saturday. But, you know, a lot of places are probably going to be stuck in the clouds for a lot of Saturday. You might even get a sprinkle or a shower. Sunday at this point, to me, looks like the better half of the weekend. Not exactly a warm day, but a little more in the way of sun seems likely on Sunday. So we'll skip through Sunday, not much going on there. Early next week, a lot of question marks on the models here. Trying to time this next system is becoming increasingly difficult, but it probably does try to rain a few times early on next week. We're going to get into kind of an ugly pattern, it looks like, for a few days next week. You know, earlier on this month, if you watched this video or watched my social media posts, I talked about how it was looking all right for the end of April, early May. Models were pointing towards, temperatures being at or above average for a lot of the time. Well, that ended up being kind of a head fake by the models. And this happens sometimes at this time of the year and also in the fall, where you get one of these slow-moving upper-level low-pressure systems like are painted on the maps next week. The models aren't going to do a good job figuring out that those are even going to exist more than a week to 10 days ahead of time. So since, a week to 10 days ago, the models didn't see this, they were painting a much warmer picture. But now it looks pretty obvious that next week, this low-pressure center in the upper levels of the atmosphere is going to just sort of lollygag through the lakes in the Midwest. That means that the end of April and early May looking pretty darn chilly. And here's the 7 to 14 day temperature anomaly map. This covers the 29th out through the 5th. So very last days of April, first 5 days of May, and it's kind of an ugly picture here. Now keep in mind, of course, that we're heading into May, and below average at this time of the year does not mean we're going to have highs in the 30s necessarily, but we could be looking at a lot of days where highs are struggling to get out of the 50s in this kind of a pattern. And by the beginning of May, yeah, we should be into the mid-60s, lower to mid-60s for highs. So if we're waiting for real consistent springtime weather, unfortunately, despite what you may have seen talked about by me and others earlier on, it looks like it's going to be delayed a little bit while longer as this cooler pattern definitely looks to take hold for next week. All right, that's weather for Weather Geeks on this Tuesday. Check me out tonight on the news, 21 News at 6 and 11. Follow me on Google Plus and on Twitter, EricWFMJ. You can find me on Instagram as well at EricWFMJ. I'll see you tonight on 21 News.